In the areas where there is nothing, once you see a white...
We can deny it for all we like. We can deny it for all we like it or not. White people will always be ahead of us. White people will always be 100 steps ahead of us. Mainly for one reason. White people, they do it themselves. They don't have time to depend on government. Majority of white people, they really don't have time to depend on somebody else. They do it themselves. There's a saying in Afrikaans, "Aboer maak 'n plan." Hence, that's why you will find a white person living in a remote area having a flushing toilet, because a boer maak 'n plan. A white person will make a plan to make his or her life much easier by taking responsibility. Those people, they do take responsibility themselves. They don't shift the responsibility to somebody else. It's unlike us. It's unlike us, majority of us Africans. We won't even pick a paper next to your gate. You will think, no, that is not your responsibility. Municipality must come and pick that paper. You won't even pick that. That's why you will see dumping in townships. Littering and dumping and dirtiness and, stinking sewage and all those things. You will never find that in white areas. You will never find filth in white areas. Because why? They do it themselves. I once had, the privilege of living in the area that is dominated by white people. Those people, they take responsibility upon themselves. They've got no time, to depend on politicians or to depend on government. But we as black people, are we doing things ourselves? Are we really doing things ourselves? No, the proof is in the pudding. Go to townships, a lot of townships. There's a lot of filth surrounding, sewage, leaking pipes, dumping, all because we've been made to depend on somebody else. We've got this mentality of, no, this is not my responsibility. Somebody else must do it. No, the government this, the government that. The government and these bloody politicians have made us to depend on them. White people are independent. We are dependent. And for as long as we are dependent onto others, we'll forever ask this question, the very same question that Julius Malema is asking. What have we done and to who to be in this condition? What have we done? The question should be, what are we doing about our current situations? Why do we always have to depend on the politicians? Why do we have to expect politicians to do or the government to do anything for us? A white person can go to any empty space, remote, rural, does not matter, empty space, and make that space livable and conveniently so for him or her. But look at the black person. Look at us black person. You will go to that empty space and build a skewed shack, and after that blame the government to say, you don't have a house, or wait for an RDP house. The problem here is our mentality. Our mentality. You really have to do it yourself. We have to do it ourselves. If not us, then who? It is clearly been proven that the government or these politicians will never do anything for us apart from ourselves doing it ourselves. We ought to do it ourselves. If we want to live in clean areas, we ought to do it ourselves. If we want to live in safe areas, we ought to do it ourselves. We must stop depending on these politicians who are playing us like pawns in a game of chess. That's the difference. You know, right now, this Malema is busy blaming the white person. White person this, white person this, white man this, white... Up until when? For how long are we going to shift the blame again to say white person this, white person this? The white person is only responsible for his own. A white person owes a black person nothing. A white person owes us nothing. You know? White person are for themselves only. When are we going to then be for ourselves? When are we going to be for ourselves? Rather than, you know, always blaming white people for this and that. We must really stop blaming the white people, and we must take responsibility. And we must never shift responsibility to people who've failed us, you know, over and over again.